Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This powerful Isharanishad today mantra reminding us we are Purnam, but we have isolated ourselves by putting a name and a gender and a form and an appointment. The moment I put a name to myself, it becomes I. That means separate from you. And this is the cause of all suffering. Have you realized today our journey in the spiritual world, so-called, is the world of the reality. And we have a beautiful question from one of the devotees. How do we experience duality when the ultimate reality is non-dual? We know ultimate reality is only one. One alone exists. Ekam eva. But that ekam, it become many, which we call it as Maya. But why is that happening? It is our journey today is to take ourselves away from this application called the body, the name, the mind, the intellect, the ego, and the memory. They're the four functions of the mind. Recollect, dear devotees, Mano, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar, Shankaracharya. And what is he saying? Mano, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar, Na Aham, Chidananda Rupoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. Only non-dual, one. Shivam is one. Brahman. This is Shiva, is as per Kashmiri Shaivism, is the Shiva and Prakriti, which is their dual. But the Prakriti is the power of the Shiva, and the Shiva is the Brahman. But though it appears to be dual, it is one. And Shankaracharya is talking that Shivoham is the Brahman, which is what we are. So the question here is, how do we experience duality when the ultimate reality is only one? The question is coming in because the moment we understand that it is the mind which is bringing in the separation and making it dual by giving it a name, by form, by appointment, by function. So this is why in Uttaranchal, Himalaya, they say, Man ke paar chale jao, go beyond the mind. So today's question is actually related to that part of it. How do we have duality in experience when the ultimate reality is non-dual, one Brahman, non-dual? How do we experience it? To understand this in a slightly simpler way, the word experience, the moment you say experience, there has to be dual. Object and subject, you and I. You is object. You is a thing or a person or a man or a woman or a computer or a light, something else other than I. I is the subject, the experiencer. So Pramana, Prameya and Pramata. Remember? So now we coming into, basically, it is an ontological question. Ontos comes from the word to exist. And ontological is what exists. What is real? Reality is only one. But the moment you bring in the word experience, it talks about two. Subject cannot experience itself. Subject is experiencing an object. I am an experiencing the thing. So here, understanding it, Brahman is real and the world is an appearance. It appears like, imagine thousands of waves, Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean. And when you look at the waves, it appears as wave. What appears as wave? The water appears as wave, or the ocean, or the dirty puddle on the street, or the rain, or this glass of water. It is separate appearance of the water, but the water alone is real. Are you comprehending now? It is very simple. It is the same water in tremendous devotion or freezing cold, whichever way you want to look at it, forms into an iceberg. Same water, from wave to water sprouts to water froth to bubbles to moistures to rain to cloud to iceberg, name it. What a wonderful reality. So the Brahman, Jiva Brahmena Jiva Vanaparaha. It is an ontological question. The Brahman alone, ontology, remember, is ontos is to exist, and ontology meaning what exists, what is real. This is a philosophical, ontological, epistemological, and axiological. Epistemological, what and how do we know it at all? What is real? How do we know it at all? And the moment you say is axiology, epistemology, how do we know it? Don't worry about the names, but it should know about it. Axiology is ethics, ethical part of it. Now, coming on to, it is, Veda is telling us the Brahman, Jiva Brahmeya Vanaparaha. It is the Jiva appearing as that because of the Maya is separate from Brahman. The moment we put a mind into it, it becomes Jiva. You and me. We are the separate being. It is that ontological statement now. So how do we know? Becomes an epistemology, a question. And what is the point of it all? What the meaning? Why should we? It goes on to axiology question. Now, just experience. Anything that is to be experienced is an instrument of experience, comes in as the things to be experienced is prameya, Sanskrit word. Pramata is the experiencer. You and I are the subject, experiencing. So understand one or two words here, good for knowledge for you and I, and to understand this. And prameya meaning the instrument of knowledge. I is the instrument of knowledge. The pramata, that soul through the mind, is the knower. And prameya, things to be experienced. I'm experiencing you, or the computer, or the wall, or the building, is the prameya. Now, to have experience, one must have duality. Why? It is only subject to the object. Now what is happening is, in this world, before we continue with these questions and understanding the deep meaning within it, is the Brahman alone is appearing as like the water alone is appearing. Like in your dream, you are dreaming. Before that, you are waking. In the waking state, you are present. Remember Mandakya Upanishad, waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, and the Chaturtham, Turiyam. The waker, dreamer, it is the Chaturtham, Turiyam. Consciousness is making us realize this, that I am a waker, I am a dreamer, or a deep sleeper. These are all ignorance. Ignorance of that Chaturtham, which is the consciousness. with which I'm experiencing the world. Now, look at it this way. We are today, because of this mind, are tripping over our own mind, our own emotions. We are not realizing it, that who we really are. We don't know how to handle that wonderful, powerful mind which is within me, and which is what is taking you and I away from who we truly are. Now, what is happening? Let's say, is it good to imagine you're running across the street, just crossing the street, running across without bothering about a truck is coming, car is coming, motorbike is coming, you're just running across. Chances are that you will go through it. Chances are also that you might meet with an accident, right? Now, which is better? To pass through our life through chances like this, or through competence? Both are C. C for chance, C for competence. Competence is with my ability. So you and I need to now understand the power from within to experience the life, which is the question. The duality in which I'm experiencing the duality, but knowing all the time this is not real. The reality is I am alone, is the witness, observer, experiencing the world which is not real. It is good to recollect here two examples. One, 2022, Alan Aspect, Joel Zellinger, and there are the three Nobel laureates who went and discovered and got the Nobel Prize that the world is not real. Remember that double slit experiment? They went and showed that an observer has to be present to observe something. For you to see something, even a dream, you have to be present. Before the dream, you have to be there. In the dream, did you ever think of it this way? In the dream also you were there. After the dream, to know that you had a dream, also you have to be there. You are present. That you here is the Brahman. What we are talking about here is the consciousness. It's the Pramata, knower. Little words complication. Don't let it bug you, but you will get very used to it as we keep on talking about experiencer. Experiencing itself. Water experiencing itself as a wave or an iceberg or a waterfall or bubble, etc. Because of which, what is happening? We are suffering. Why? Because, second example, Professor Wilkinson, remember, sometimes I quote it to you, comes out of an Oxford University, a great philosopher. It was around evening time, 4:35, and the sun was setting. And he was looking at, admiring at the sun setting, red, beautiful hue in the horizon, and huge ball of a fire like sun. And he said, along with him, the students were also there, he said little loudly, I wonder why our predecessors used to say, sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Notice it's the same way as the water and the wave. Here, water alone has become the wave. Here, he said, I wonder why. Understand the equation. One girl who was a student who was with Professor Wilkinson said, why, Professor? That is how it looks. It looks like that. The professor turned back, looked at the sun again setting, and he looks back at her and smiles and says, if it was not that way, how would it look? We know sun is not rotating around the earth, but sun is rising, sun is setting, meaning sun is going around the earth. What if it, Professor Wilkinson is saying, if it is not that way, it is the other way? Meaning what? Actually, what is happening? Earth is going round and round the earth. What if it is that way? How would it look? Exactly the same way. Same thing is happening to you and me today. We are one. How would the world look at you and I? Everybody's separate, everybody's different, you are different, I'm different. But the reality, these bodies is not real. 2022 Nobel Prize winner and ancient India's Vedanta Upanishad. Ekam eva advaitam. Only one alone exists. And Jiva Brahmeya Vanaparaha. So you and I need to understand this to what? Only one thing. In the rat race that you and I are in, even if I am a winner, I still am a rat. Maybe a bigger rat or a smaller rat. A rat is a rat. In other words, what? Not realize who we truly are. And that is because our education system has not taken us. We are teaching, learning. That is, learning through logic, intellect, the mind, which is divided into intellect, into memory, into feelings, and ego. This logic system is what we are learning. The world is outside. Have you realized we are always learning things from outside, out there? Our education system, which is what we are doing, practicing through the spiritual thing, is to dive within ourselves. But education system is taking us outwards, outwards, outwards. This is the entire issue today, is what we give you two examples in which we need to get on to little more onto this. Advaita Vedanta is making a division between what we experience and what is real. Real world and the experiencing world. Experience meaning object and subject. Remember, the definition of the experience is there has to be an object and consciousness. Consciousness is thurium. So if I have to experience something, I have to be conscious. I cannot be in coma and unconscious. And then I use my five senses to experience. Then they are experienced through the brain, to the mind. I experience by the power of the consciousness. Now knowing it all that, you will certainly realize that this world is becoming real because it is the Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. 2022 Nobel laureate is talking what 5,000-6,000 years ago Vedanta talked about. Brahma Satyam, this consciousness alone. Brahman is mean just vast, which is expanding without limit, infinite. Infinite expansion without limit is Brahman. That vastness. And remember our earlier sessions last Sundays, is it has got without limit. What is limit? Limit of Desha, Kala, Vastu. Desha, limit of space. You are there, I am here. Recollecting all of them, connecting all of them. Separation. The moment I bring separation of space, you are there, I am here. That means I am not Brahman. What if something which can be there and here at the same time? That is Brahman. Kala is Samay. That means anything which is created will be destroyed. Everything gets destroyed in this universe. Whatever is born will die. So, epitaph written in the graveyard. Born 1910, died 2010. 100 years of life. Birth to death is the life journey. This is Kala, Samay, separation by time. What if there is something which is beyond time? That means it is all the time present. It is present there, it is present now. Which is what? As per Vedanta, it's the consciousness, Chetana. It was always there, it will always be there. Difficult to understand? Not really. Take a simple example. But remember, these examples are Tulana Matra. Paramahansa Ramakrishna, Vivekananda's Guru statement. Tulana Matra. It's only for the example. Don't go much more detail into it. Then it will create confusion. What is it? Right now there is light falling on me. And now I go away from this room to another room. Will this light follow me there? No, this light stays here. And another person comes in here. He gains with the light. This is what ancient Vedanta is talking about, birth and death. Consciousness is there. Body is born, body dies. When the body is born, it has got a mind. That mind is the one because of prarabdha karma, sanchita karma. We come with that mind. Simple to understand. Now, what is our practice? What's the purpose of this mention today? Duality, Brahman. If it is non-dual, where is the duality coming from? It is apparent. It is not real. Vedanta is bringing this separation between real and experience. They are separate. Experience is not real. You can experience, I told you the wave, I told you the sunrise and the sunset. You're experiencing it, but it's not real. Dream. What happens in the dream, it doesn't happen in your real life. Are you with me now? Quite simple. We'll deal with it much more in detail in the coming. What was the purpose of my first Purnamada, Purnamidam? Now connected. Purnam is the consciousness, Chaitana. From Purnam, when you take away Purnam, from consciousness, when you take away consciousness, consciousness alone remain. Purnam alone remain. It cannot be divided. I take a glass of water, I take away some water. Water will become half glass now, but not in the consciousness, not in that light, not in Brahman. Brahman is ever present, omnipresent, omniscient, Desha Kala Vastu. Before I close today, very interesting to remember the Vastu Paricheda. Kala Paricheda, I explained to you time. Desha Paricheda, I explained to you space. So, autobiography Yogi, Lahiri Mahasaya was there taking Gita class. He was also sitting in Dasashwamedh Ghat and watching Babaji and Babaji's sister talking. No? Remember the story Paramahansa Yogananda's in autobiography Yogi? Same way. Now, in this experiencing, when you attain that state, there has to be that light. In Vastu Paricheda, what is the difference? Let's say a clock. A clock cannot be anything else but a clock. It cannot be glass, it cannot be book, it cannot be house. A glass cannot be a tumbler, it cannot be water, it cannot be ice. Are you with me? It is called Vastu Paricheda. What if there is something which has got no Vastu Paricheda? That means it can be anything. Now understand the Brahman, which is Brahman is vast without limit. So it has got no Desha Paricheda, no Kala Paricheda, no Vastu Paricheda, no separation because of space, time or object. So Brahman can be anything in this universe. Now join it with a very simple meaning. Why is all this 33 crores of gods and goddesses? Because God, Brahman, Ishvara is in everything. And this is Taittiriya Upanishad is explaining. Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. That Sat Chit Ananda is Brahman. Brahman is vast without limit. So it is present everywhere, present in everything, present throughout eternity. Now when you understand that, it's very good for the Brahman. So what about me? The Vedanta is saying, you are the Brahman. You are the same consciousness. Whether this is little wave or big wave, whether it's a little bottle, Ganga Pani in a little homeopathy bottle, or it is in a jug or the whole river, it is same Ganga Pani. Now just think, Ganga is running from Gangotri Gomukhi right up to Bay of Bengal, Ganga Sagar, where it joins with Bay of Bengal. When you say, are you with me? When you say, I had a bath in the river Ganga, does it mean you've been taking bath from Gangotri to Bay of Bengal? No. Any place you take a dip, you have the power and the purity of the Brahman. So understand, today's punchline message is that one is reality and experience. They are separate as per Brahman. But the punchline is, once you realize the meaning and start to experience that I am that Brahman, you will attain that same statement which Larimasa did, Babaji did, and you and I are in that journey to attain that oneness to the Brahman. This is the power of the Vedanta. Knowing is Shravanam, Mananam. Listen, experience, think, ask question, keep on reflecting on it, and then Nididhyasana. Make it your own through reflection. Don't forget to ask question on Sunday, or you may send it to me by post. Check.